Today's show host and Philly girl Sheinelle Jones has written what she calls a beautiful reflection on motherhood and its lasting presence of love. The book, Through Mom's Eyes, hits store shelves April 14th. My friend Sheinelle is here to talk more about it right now.
Hi.
I love seeing you.
I used to tell everybody you were my cousin.
That's
like
right.
the fellow Jones folks, the fellow Jones news folks.
Sister from another mister
yeah,
right
there you
here.
go.
That's right. You have said now for the last 6 years, you've had it in your heart to write this. You start during the pandemic, right? You're 2 weeks away from launch day. How does it feel?
It's surreal.
Yeah.
It's surreal. Even being here in Philadelphia and talking with you is surreal because I've had this on my heart for so long. When I was in my early days and I just got the job in New York and these celebrities are coming through. Yeah. And I remember thinking like, okay, if Steph Curry comes through, especially when I started, I'm not interviewing Steph Curry, you know, and all these other people that I admired. And one time an intern was like, well, you're always talking about you wonder how their moms are or what their moms feed them, and you're always joking. She goes, you should try to talk to their mothers and like get some wisdom from their moms. And I'm like, I would love to do that. And so Steph Curry's mom was my first guest, Sonia Curry. And then she called her friend Lucille O'Neal, Shaq's mom. And then they called Wanda, Kevin Durant's mom. And then I was like, okay, I've got the NBA guys. Let me move over to Lady Gaga, Matthew McConaughey, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Venus and Serena Williams. Like it's been, and every woman was so eager to share with all of you what they've learned. And it's not to say that there's some template for, you know, it's not about raising a celebrity. It's just like, you know, I know you did something right. And what did you learn? Are there things you would do differently? And I was quietly wondering if you could get all of these rock star moms, 25 of them or so, would there be a common thread or a theme or something that I could learn from and share with the class?
Sure.
So that's kind of what I set out to do. And what I ended with was not only a how-to guide and, you know, chores or no chores, sibling rivalry, all of those things, divorce, all of those things, but also how to pour into yourself as a mom, or if you're an aunt or a grandmother or a coach or a foster mom, like how to do this thing, because there really is no template. That's right.
That's right. Well, while I was talking about becoming a new dad, the thing that helped me the most were hearing stories from other dads. Not like reading the books that say, hey, if you do A plus B, it equals C.
Exactly.
It's like, no, it helps to have a book, something like this, which would be really helpful. And I was thinking back, you're a Philly girl through and through. Of course. Your heart is here, of course. I just shared with you that I'm about to put 2 car seats in the back of my car because my wife's expecting next May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. When you were here, you had 3 car seats in the back.
We had to get we needed a bigger boat.
But you wish you had a book like this.
I know. I remember there were times where I was doing the morning show and I was doing a morning show and I was in the car and 3 car seats and then rushing home and trying to be present. And if you're not careful, the one thing I learned from a lot of the women is you don't mean to wish it away, but you just want to get out of whatever it is. So you're like, oh my gosh, when I get out of the diaper phase, woo. Or I remember thinking, when I can just get to the airport and they can each have their own backpacks. Like I remember thinking, oh, if I could, you know, and then you realize that if you're not careful, you're almost like wishing it away. Yeah. And every single woman I talked with, they miss it. Wow. They may not miss the thick of the stress of it all, but then eventually, you know, Gronk's mom, Rob Gronkowski was like, eventually you are going to be able to take a shower and nobody's going to open the door. And then you know what I mean? Like eventually you are going to be able to like get more than a couple hours of sleep, or nobody's going to climb in your bed. This is Matthew McConaughey's mom. She was the oldest mom that I interviewed, and she talked about keeping your sense of humor. This was Gronk's mom. When I asked her if she missed it, she started crying. You know, she got teary. And so it's like we have to be careful, even though it's stressful, not to wish it away. And all of the women in this book told me their hope is that when women read this, and men too, I had several guys read it and said they called their mother and they hugged their wives. That's it.
Our hearts here go out to you. We've been thinking about you a lot. We go back, I think, 12 years now, which is really crazy. And I was trying to think about all the things I could possibly ask you, especially on the heels of you losing your husband last year, Uche, to 7 months later, you lost your grandmother. But you shared on Today that they got to read this book. It's really special.
I remember, and I talk about it in the book, you know, right after Uche woke up from his first brain surgery, he was diagnosed with glioblastoma. And right after, we got married there in Fairmount, or right in the Art Museum. And he was like, you have to keep going, right? Like, you have to keep going for the kids, to show them, for me, for all of us. And so there would be days where he was, you know, in the hospital, and I would open up my laptop and I would just keep writing. And he would look over at me to make sure I was writing. And sometimes he would be like, where's your laptop? And I'm like, really? Like, I don't care, but he wanted me to finish it. And so I would finish a chapter and then let him read it, you know.
Yeah.
He was so private. He was fiercely private, and so I didn't talk about it in the book. And then when it was time for it to be published last spring, he got really sick. And I remember the publisher at the time was like, do you want to take some time and postpone it till next spring? And I'm like, no, he didn't want me to postpone it. But now I know it was the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, I needed to be by his side. I needed to be present with the kids. And so I'm glad that I did. And so now here we are, a year later. I reworked it, to be honest, about, you know, mothering while my husband's fighting cancer. It's like motherhood is already tough and stressful and it has its challenges, but motherhood doesn't stop. Even if you're dealing with cancer or stress or alcoholism or whatever it is, almost every mother in this book has had something.
Yeah.
And they still had to push through.
Aw, that book is a testament to your strength, though.
Thank you.
We love you for it. And, of course, we want to support you, Hometown Girl.
Please do.
People can pre-order right now. What's your dream with the book?
My dream is that wherever you are, if you are a mom, if you know a mom, if you know someone who is in the life of a child, that you will turn to this book and you can read. You don't have to read it in order. You can just open up a chapter, and that it helps you feel less alone, and that you're more present in the life of the children that you're, you know, that you're dealing with every day.
A good reminder there. All right.
Thank you.
The great
You're
Sheinelle
so
Jones.
good at what you do.
Stop it.
My goodness.
This is so stressful doing this way. You know what I mean? I'm sure
like,
it's for you too.
Ask away. Please pre-order this book. No. Just search Through Mom's Eyes wherever you get your books, and a hot pink book will pop up, and then you just say pre-order.